Greetings to another video. Today is going to be a Q&A. I've not done one for a while, so I asked you on my Instagram. Also, it's at Katie Kookaburra with a 1 on the end if you want to follow me on there. And then be involved in the questions for the next Q&A video that I do. So, first question. Do you always have bike fits? I had one maybe about a year into cycling, then I had one a few years later with the master, that is Phil Burt. And yeah, I've not needed one since. Do you change tyres for winter weather and neoprene gloves, yay or nay? Do you know what, neoprene? No, I find that pretty much every single pair of winter gloves that I've ever used, none of them are waterproof. You just get cold and wet hands. And tyres, yes. So in summer I use the Power Road, which are Michelin 25s, and then in winter I will switch to, they're called All Season, and they're 28mm, and they just have like that bit of extra like puncture protection when the roads are just full of crap. So yeah, I would change those. Fave Manchester band, Oasis. Simple. Ever thought of organising a group ride with your subscribers? That's from Lee Denton. Yeah, I have. So I was going to do it, I think it was last year, and then obviously COVID. And then this year, just as stuff's opening back up, I just never felt like it was the right time to do it, but I will do it. And also the other thing that put me off doing it, and you probably think this is silly, but I thought, what if I organise it and no one turns up and then it's just me on my own? So if I organise it, make sure some of you come, so I'd just be like, well, I like riding on my own. It'd just be a ride on my own, wouldn't it? Next one. How do you plan routes to get the most entertaining roads and avoid the busy ones? So I'll just look on a map and find the biggest, greenest, hilliest area that I can find, and generally that's pretty nice. What do you do to prep for a long ride? I have made quite a few videos on this. In short, this is from J. Ian Whitcomb. Sorry, I've said your name, Whitcomb. Anyway, sorry if I've messed up your name. Yeah, I would just make sure the route's good, make sure I know where I'm stopping for food, and make sure that my bike is already prepped and in good working order, ready to go. Some group ride etiquettes to make girls in my new group ride I am starting more comfortable. I think ride etiquette, I think the main thing with that is not doing anything too sudden, and so that if I'm on like a tight group ride, I will always try and ride behind someone that I know and that I trust, because if they just suddenly slam on the brakes, like, you want someone that's going to make people aware of what they're going to do in that group ride, because otherwise you're going to cause a crash. So it's just being communicative about what you're going to do, like call out potholes, call out, when you're going to move out if there's a car. So yeah, they would be the main ones. Fave weeknight dinner, and that's from Joe. Anything with potatoes. I just love potatoes. I would probably say I love the most mashed potatoes, gravy, and peas and green beans. Very simple. Oh, and a bit of mint sauce. God, I just love that. Very simple, but I love it. Thoughts on wearing a small rucksack rather than a bag attached to your bike? That's from Johnny. I would say do what works for you. If I'm going to ride into town and I'm going to be wandering around town for a bit, I'll just take a backpack. Just because it's easier when you get off the bike, you don't have to mess around taking a saddlebag with you. But if I'm going to be going on like a bike packing thing, I will always use bike packing bags, just because you just get a sweaty back with backpacks generally. But end of the day, do what works for you. Do or did you ever fear the unpredictability of YouTube over a standard job? And that's from John. No, not really, just because I don't know how stable any job is now anyway. There always seems to be people being made redundant in lots of different like jobs, like what's the word? Not different areas, what do you call it? Different industries, I guess. And also I feel like the stuff that I learned as a journalist, I was a journalist before I was on YouTube. I feel like the skills that I had from that and the skills that I've got now from YouTube, so like the videography, the like interviewing and the photography side, I feel like they're all skills that I could then use in a different job. So no, not really. Any tips on how to make a training schedule and stick to it this winter? Started cycling this summer. I would say with that is make it make it something that you can stick to, if that makes sense. There's no point you going out being like, oh, I'm just going to smash it. I want to do like 15 hours a week, 10 hours a week. And if that doesn't fit in your schedule, or like you've got too many other things on, you will just drop it off. So if you had then said, you know what, I've got 5 weeks that I can really utilize and then train really well in those 5 hours, then that's going to be way better if you're consistent with that over, say, a period of 6 months than doing like, you know, the 10-hour weeks, 15-hour weeks, or whatever you want to do for like 2 weeks and then burning out. So it's just all about consistency. And I've learned that from my coach, Mark. So I would say that. And also, it's not necessarily about just riding more. I think sometimes people think, oh, you just got to ride every day, like all day, and then that's just going to make you fitter. I feel like that's not always the case. And it's about training specifically for what you want. And whether that's, you know, racing crits or riding endurance or riding off-road, you should train specifically for what you want. So yeah, that's what I would do. How do you fuel during a multi-day event? I've done videos on this as well. However, in short, I would just make sure that I know my route and where the food stops are along that route, and just eat a lot. I generally eat stuff that's really easily digestible. Is that a word? Digestible? Yeah, just easily digested. So stuff like a bagel, like really plain bread, juices, smoothies, the odd packet of crisps. Keep it very simple. Do you feel any different on the bike depending on what phase you are in your menstrual cycle? I do actually, yeah. I feel like when I'm on my period, I feel a lot stronger, and I feel like all my PBs and stuff have always generally been when I've been on my period. And I was actually reading up on this. So Dr. Stacey Sims, I'll leave a link to her website. She talks a lot about this. She's done a lot of research into female athletes. And that's one of the findings that she talked about, is that actually you are stronger for endurance stuff when you're on your period generally. So very interesting. Julia asked, that was from Julia as well. This one is as well. Any tips if you come back dehydrated from a ride, e.g. headache? Electrolytes. You got to get those electrolytes in. I've talked about this before, but I always thought they were a bit of a scam. And I started using electrolytes and they're just brilliant. I used to get headaches. It was almost like a hangover after a really long ride. It was because I wasn't using electrolytes. You need to replenish the minerals and things that you lose through sweat from riding. So the ones I like, they're called Precision Hydration. I use the 1500 ones. They're just really strong. I'm not sponsored by them, but they're the best ones that I've used. Lost my cycling mojo. Help. That's from Lee. I would just say it's okay to have lost it for a while. I think have a bit of time out. Enjoy the time out. I've been doing pretty much the same thing. Not because I've lost the mojo, but I'm just like, I'm just having a bit of time out. I'm just enjoying doing other things. And then you'll just be hungrier to go back and get on the bike and do all the things that you want to do. So just have a bit of time out. Plans for 2022. I don't really have any plans yet. Got one plan potentially, but I'm just keeping it open for now. I'm not really sure. Are e-bikes just as good for losing weight? I would say I think e-bikes are amazing, but I think that if you are able to ride a regular bike, obviously one without a motor, then I would do that. But I think if you are just getting into it, then I think an e-bike is a really good option. Yeah, there's so many good ones, and they're really light now as well. They're not really, really heavy bikes. I know Ribbles is, and it doesn't even look like it's an e-bike. So yeah, I think see which works. But I think if you do need that extra help, go for the e-bike. Sarah asked, any skincare tips for so much bike riding? I always just use SPF cream on any ride, like no matter what time of year. So I use SPF 50. On my last day in the live video, I talked about a couple of the ones that I like. So have a look at that. Any tips on finding a riding group in a big city? That's from Laura. Just go on Facebook. That is one of the best things. Or local bike shops. Go in there, ask if they do a club ride. How do you stay motivated to go out and ride, especially when the weather is yuck? I don't. I go on Zwift. I'm going on Zwift in a minute because the weather is horrible today. I feel anxious driving on roads. Any tips? So I don't know whether that means driving a car or riding, but just go on quieter roads or ride off-road. So yeah. And then I think the more that you do it, I was quite nervous when I first started riding on like quite busy roads. I think you just get more used to it. Do you eat more frequently the hilly the route? I don't know actually. Probably. It depends. If they're just like short, sharp ones, probably not. If it's like loads of long, draggy climbs and you're just like on them for hours, then I guess. But I just make sure that I always take extra than I think I'm going to need, because the amount of times I've been on group rides and I've just been like trying to catch like a cliff block or something, like, please can I have one, because I've not taken enough food. I've learnt my lesson many times doing that. So I would just say take more food than you need, regardless of whether it's flat or hilly. Any tips on how to believe in yourself when taking on challenges? This is from Naomi. I would just say do the challenge. Just sign up for it and have a go at it, because you don't know what you're capable of until you do it. And if you do something and you don't succeed, you know where your limit is. And I don't think that's a bad thing. So I just think, just have a go. And actually, I think we care more about failing, than what other people are going to think of us, more than other people actually think. No one really cares. And I think it's so brave to go and just give something a go. So go and do it, definitely. Final question from Derek said, what is the maximum amount of toppings on a pizza? I don't think there is a maximum amount of toppings that you can have on a pizza. I like all the veggies, pineapple, definitely pineapple on there. And yeah, just load them on. Loads of like chilies. Yeah, I'm up for that. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this Q&A, and I will see you later on in the week. The next ride will be mountain bike ride. I'm dusting the mountain bike off and I'm getting back on it. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Thank you for submitting the questions, and hope you've taken something from that, and I'll see you next video. Wrong button.